Okay, so let's dive into the first chapter of the book of Esther today.
Right. And it throws you straight into this world of, well, immense power. King Xerxes' Persia.
Absolutely. The scale is just staggering from the get-go. You hear about this empire stretching from India all the way over to Kush.
Yeah, 127 provinces. It's
Correct.
not just a kingdom, it's like a super empire ruled from Susa. The text really wants you to feel that vastness.
It really does. And we're told it's the third year of his reign, so he's settled in, and he decides to put on a show.
Oh, more than a show, a
Yeah.
6-month-long event, a
Yeah.
display,
Oh,
really.
exactly. 180 days for all his top people, nobles, officials, military leaders, princes, you name it,
Yeah.
just showing off the sheer wealth and glory of his kingdom.
It's a power move, right? Not just a party. It's about reinforcing who's in charge, cementing loyalty, maybe intimidating folks a little, showing everyone the resources he controls across those 127 provinces.
Makes sense. It establishes the baseline. This is a king with unlimited resources and power. But okay, here's where it gets even more interesting for me.
After the 6-month marathon.
Right. After that ends, he throws another party. A shorter one, just 7 days.
Mhm.
But this one's for everyone in the capital city, Susa. From the, quote, least to the greatest.
So a shift from the elite focus to the, well, the local population of the capital. Interesting. Maybe trying to win some popular favor.
Or just keeping the celebration going.
Could be. And the description of this party is amazing. It's in the palace garden. They talk about hangings of white and blue linen
The royal colors, yeah.
fastened with, like, purple cords to silver rings on marble pillars. Just imagine it.
And the couch is gold and silver on this incredible mosaic floor with costly stones. It screams luxury, even for the public event.
Totally. It's all about the visuals, the extravagance, and the wine.
Ah, yes, the wine.
It says it was served in golden goblets, but get this, they were all different. Countless unique golden cups.
Wow. That detail alone tells you something about the scale of wealth. Not just gold, but variety, craftsmanship. Enough to give everyone a unique golden goblet. And the king's rule for drinking. Drink as much as you want, no pressure, no limits. Everyone does as they please.
Which, especially over 7 days, is definitely going to create a certain kind of atmosphere. A
Yeah.
very high-spirited one, let's say.
Exactly. The text seems to be setting that up deliberately. Now, while all this is going on with the king's party,
Queen Vashti's doing her own thing.
yeah, she's hosting her banquet. For the women, also in the palace. So you have these parallel events happening.
Shows she had her own sphere, her own role in the court's social life, even if separate.
Right. So fast forward to the 7th day of the king's feast, the climax. And the text explicitly says Xerxes was in high spirits from wine.
Okay, so feeling pretty good. Probably not thinking entirely straight.
Seems likely, because this is when he gets an idea. He wants to show off his queen, Vashti.
He summons her.
Yes, he sends 7 specific eunuchs court officials with a command, bring Queen Vashti to him.
And there's a detail, isn't there, about how she should appear.
Yes, wearing her royal crown. The reason given. So he can display her beauty to the people and nobles. The text even adds, almost like an aside, that she was lovely to look at.
So essentially, come out here, look beautiful in your crown, and let all these men who've been drinking for 7 days admire you. It's a command to be put on display.
Exactly, not a private request, a public command in front of everyone.
Puts her in a really tough spot. Obey and be objectified in that setting. Or disobey and face the consequences of defying the king.
And she chose defiance, the eunuchs deliver the message, and Queen Vashti refused to come. She said no.
Wow. That's the moment, isn't it? The hinge point. Refusing the absolute ruler publicly.
The impact is immediate. What happens? The king becomes, well, the text says, furious. He burned with anger.
Not just annoyed, enraged. It's a public slap in the face on the last day of his big party in front of all his guests. A direct challenge to his authority.
But interestingly, even in his rage, he doesn't just lash out blindly. He follows protocol.
Right, the text mentions it was customary to consult experts in law and justice. So he turns to his advisors.
His wise men, the ones who understood the times, and specifically this inner circle of 7 top nobles of Persia and Media. Guys like Karshina, Shethar, Memucan.
The highest council, basically. Those with special access. And he frames the question legally, doesn't he?
He does. According to law, what must be done to Queen Vashti? She has not obeyed my command. He wants a legal ruling for her disobedience.
It's not just, I'm angry, what should I do? It's, what does the law require?
And one advisor, Memucan, steps up to answer in front of everyone. And his take on it, Well, it escalates things massively.
He doesn't just say she disrespected the king.
No, he argues Vashti has wronged not just the king, but, quote, all the nobles and the peoples of all the provinces of King Xerxes.
Whoa, that's quite a leap. Her refusal to attend a party is suddenly an offense against every single man in the entire empire.
That's Momican's argument. He needs to justify a strong response, right? So he lays out the potential consequences.
The ripple effect.
Exactly. He says, look, word of this will get out. All the women across the empire will hear that the queen defied the king's order.
What's the fear?
That they'll use it as an excuse to despise their own husbands. He literally paints a picture of women saying, well, Queen Vashti didn't obey the king, so why should I listen to you?
So he's framing it as a direct threat to the social order, to the hierarchy within every household.
Precisely.
Wow.
He predicts that even this very day, the noble women hearing about this will start disrespecting their husbands, the king's nobles. He warns it'll lead to no end of disrespect and discord everywhere.
He's essentially saying, if we don't make an example of her, we risk widespread marital rebellion and social chaos across all 127 provinces. It's a potent argument, playing on fears of losing control.
Extremely potent. So his solution has to match that perceived threat. He proposes a formal royal decree.
And one that can't be changed, right?
Yeah.
Written into the laws of Persia and Media.
Yes, which cannot be repealed. Permanent, irreversible.
Making a very strong statement. What does the decree actually say?
Two main things. First, Vashti is never again to enter King Xerxes' presence. Banished from court, stripped of her status.
Ouch. Total removal. And second,
The king should give her royal position to someone else who is better than she. So not just punishment, but replacement. Find a queen who fits the mold better.
someone more compliant, presumably. Someone who won't cause this kind of trouble.
Right. And Memucan wraps it up by saying what this decree will achieve. When it's proclaimed everywhere, throughout the vast realm,
Then what happens?
all the women will respect their husbands, from the least to the greatest.
So punishing Vashti and making it law is supposed to guarantee universal respect for husbands across the entire empire. That's the explicit goal he presents.
It is a direct link. Make an example of the queen, shore up male authority everywhere else.
And did the king and the other nobles buy it?
They did. The text says the king and his nobles were pleased with this advice. They agreed with Memucan's framing of the problem and the solution.
So the king acted on it
Immediately,
Yeah.
implemented the proposal, sent out the decree.
and made sure everyone heard about it.
Oh, yeah. Dispatches went out to all parts of the kingdom, to each province in its own script, and to each people in its own language. They really blanketed the empire with this message.
That level of effort shows how seriously they took Memucan's warning, or at least how important they felt it was to project this message of authority.
And the core message translated into every language.
Let me guess. Something about husbands.
Spot on. That every man should be ruler over his own household. That was the law proclaimed everywhere.
Wow. It's really something. A party incident fueled by wine and anger gets interpreted by an advisor as a fundamental threat to societal stability, and boom, an empire-wide law about who is boss in the house.
It really is an incredible chain reaction. You see this, seemingly small act of defiance by Vashti. Maybe personal, maybe principled. We don't know her motives for sure. But it gets spun into this huge risk to the entire social fabric.
And the response is entirely based on that interpretation, that perceived threat articulated by Memucan and accepted by the king. It becomes codified into unchangeable law.
It really highlights how anxieties at the center of power, maybe fears about control or challenges to the status quo, can ripple outwards. How a court drama escalates into something intended to dictate dynamics in every single home across this massive, diverse empire.
Exactly. It wasn't just about getting rid of a queen who disobeyed. It was framed very deliberately as a necessary move to prevent chaos and reinforce the existing power structure as understood by those advisors.
Which leaves us with a really interesting question for you to think about. How often do events that happen in the halls of power, things that might even seem personal or specific to those involved, end up generating rules or laws that try to shape everyday life and authority for everyone else far beyond the palace walls?
And, of course, with Vashti now gone, deposed by an irrevocable decree, what happens next? How do they find this someone better to take her place? That's where the story has to go.